Over the past few years, gold IRAs have become a hot topic, especially for people thinking about retirement, and depending on where you look, you'll hear very different opinions. Some people I know see them as a smart way to protect long-term savings, while other people think they're confusing. So, I guess the real question is, are gold IRAs actually worth it? The honest answer is, it depends. I know, that really helps, right? And in this video, we'll look at both sides in a clear, straightforward way, so you can decide whether they make sense for you or not. Most people don't start out looking for a gold IRA specifically. They usually start with a nagging little voice in their head. Is it inflation, market volatility, or just a general uneasy feeling about the stock market? And that's where precious metals come into the picture. Gold has a long history as a long-term store of value, so the idea of holding some of it as part of a retirement strategy can feel like a way to balance things out. A gold IRA is simply one way to do that. It allows you to hold approved precious metals inside a retirement account. Now let's look at a few reasons people consider them. One is diversification. Most retirement accounts are heavily invested in financial assets like stocks and bonds and fluctuate with the market trends. A gold IRA gives you exposure to something different, something tangible, something that you actually own. If you're like me, that adds a layer of comfort. Another reason is the idea of owning a physical asset. Unlike stocks or funds, gold is something that exists outside the financial system. Even though it's stored in a vault in the case of a gold IRA, it's still a physical asset that you own. This makes a difference to some people. There's also the argument around inflation. Gold is often viewed as a stable asset during periods when currency value declines. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean it always performs that way, but it's one of the reasons it's included in long-term strategies. But let's look at the other side. Now, that's just as important to understand. One of the biggest considerations is cost. Gold IRAs usually come with multiple layers of fees. There can be setup fees, annual custodian fees, storage fees, and the spread when buying or selling metals. Individually, these may not seem significant, but over time, they can add up. There's also the issue of complexity. A standard retirement account is relatively simple. A gold IRA involves more moving parts. There's a custodian, a dealer, and a storage facility. There are also IRS rules about what can and can't be held. For some people, that conservative added structure is fine. For others, it feels unnecessarily complicated. Another point to consider is how returns work. Gold doesn't generate income. There are no dividends, no interest. Its value is based entirely on price movement over time. That's different from other types of investments that may produce ongoing returns. So when you put all of this together, you start to see the trade-offs. On one hand, you have diversification and tangible asset exposure. On the other, you have fees, complexity, and no income generation. And this is where the decision really becomes personal. For some investors, a gold IRA can make sense as a small part of a broader strategy, especially if the goal is diversification and long-term balance. For others, it may not be the best fit. If simplicity is a priority, or if minimizing costs is a major concern, maybe this isn't for you. In some cases, people choose a mix. They might hold traditional investments and also have some exposure to precious metals in a way that fits their comfort level. So are gold IRAs worth it? There isn't a universal yes or no. It really comes down to your goals, your preferences, and your personal retirement strategy. If you're researching this further, one of the most useful things you can do is homework. Compare how different companies structure their fees, pricing, and overall approach. Trust me on this one, they can be all over the board. That's where the differences tend to show up. If you'd like to explore that in more detail, I've put together additional comparisons and breakdowns at preciousmetalreviews.com, and if this video helped clarify things for you, please subscribe and share. I'll continue sharing straightforward information to help you better understand how these pieces fit into a retirement plan. Thanks for watching, and make it a great day.